Hey, good evening, everyone. Today's Tuesday, March the 10th.
I'm Bruce Turner in Valkyria, Florida.
I'm Jeff Zayas in Napa, California.
Hey, everyone, I'm Duke Carrico, and tonight on Tech and Coffee's Android Journal, we're talking Apple announcements. Hey, the watch, the new Mac, lower-priced Apple TV, and we're even going to review the LG G3 this evening. Hey, some Google announcements around some new apps coming, and rumored new functionality in Android Wear. Hey, this and much more. Hello, gang.
Hola.
Hello. Does anybody know where Valkyria, Florida is?
No, educate us, please.
Well, it's near Grant, Florida. Do you know where Grant, Florida is?
It's near...
It's near that place you just said you were in.
It's near Fellsmere. So Fellsmere, Florida is where they have the Frog Leg Festival, and Grant, Florida is where they have the seafood. And Valkyria is just kind of this nice little community nestled in the midst of the palm scrub. And but I am being hosted by some really good friends of mine here this week, so enjoying my time here.
Very good, very good. And for anyone that doesn't know, you spend 1 week a month in Florida for your job, and it just so happened that for this week, all the hotels were sold out because of some sort of conferences or something going on,
Well,
I'm imagining.
Spring break for colleges and spring training, baseball. It's huge down here. So everybody from up north is coming down here to support their teams. And I just want to say, I had some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on my hamburger just now. So
Oh, very good, very good. Hey, I like that stuff.
it's called
That's good
product placement.
Soon to be a collaborator on our show. We will get an endorsement from these guys and get a case of it.
Mm-hmm. And you know what their byline is on the bottle? You'll like this, Jeff. The sauce is the boss.
All right, hey man, we're fixing to make a few people mad tonight. You know, we're an Android show, and people get upset when we talk about Apple, especially when we praise Apple. Jeff,
I know, and we're going to be doing some praising.
Watch it now.
Maybe you are. Maybe you are. I didn't say I was going to be praising.
Watch it.
Man, you just baited me, didn't you?
Watch it now. Watch it.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk, Jeff. I know you watched the keynote live, as did I, and we got to watch. We got basically 3 different models. You got a sport model that's going to start at $450, and $350. I'm sorry, $350.
Yeah.
And then you've got a little bit, I'm going to call it the middle end. It starts at $550, and if you get it fully loaded, you can go all the way up to $1,100. Okay? And,
No, $10,000.
Well, no.
Oh, you're talking about the mid-range watch. Yeah, you're right.
Stainless steel, yes.
Yeah. And the band. And the band's go anywhere from $50 to $300 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you know, they supposedly got one band, takes them 9 hours to make it. I never did hear the price of it. I just heard them bragging that it took 9 hours to make one watch band for this higher end. Now, this higher end model starts at $10,000, and depending on what you get with it, you could double the price. Okay. Doubling the price of a watch, you know, and let's keep in mind, you know, it's a software-driven watch. You know, I just I couldn't help but think, you know, when I was watching that real quick. Of course, wouldn't you know, it wouldn't be on top. You know what this is?
It's a phone.
This is a dead iPhone. Okay, a dead iPhone. It's about 4 years old, and it hasn't worked in probably 2.5, 3 years. It hasn't worked at all. All of these things wear out. Okay, the software becomes obsolete. The batteries in them just won't hold a charge. Uh, I guess the first question I'm going to ask, let's just go ahead and get address the elephant in the room. Who is going to pay $20,000 for an Apple Watch, Jeff?
Someone with such disposable money, it's crazy. So it's really more of a upper elite, less than 1% kind of person will be driving this watch, or fashion, some fashion forward person. But I wouldn't, obviously, and most people on the planet are not going to buy a $10,000 watch.
And I would suggest that if you had $20,000 of disposable income, you'd buy a Rolex rather than this Apple Watch, as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
Go ahead.
hey, this isn't unheard of. I mean, I've seen Ferrari and Lamborghini, and obviously they haven't made them, but they've hired these companies to make them and put their logos on them, and they ask $5,000 for these phones. I mean, this isn't unheard of for Apple to attempt something like this,
No, but it just speaks to their level of, in-your-face pricing.
Jeff, your thoughts. Just give me your thoughts. Since you watched the keynote live, just kind of give me an overview.
First of all, I thought it was, again, Apple just knows how to throw an event. It was paced well. Again, they did a good job. They rolled out the features, and you didn't expect them, or I didn't expect. I thought it was just going to be an Apple Watch kind of presentation, but no, it wasn't. They had other things to talk about.
They were almost an hour into the keynote before they even talked about a watch. Absolutely.
Right, and the big thing was, the Spring Forward event. Everyone thought, okay, it is just going to be Apple Watch, but no, they came out with that MacBook that looked, very thin, and all the, how they're terracing the battery to fully load the case up, and I'm not a big proponent of the keyboard has to be butterfly versus whatever in terms of
butterfly versus scissors. Yeah,
that's really not going to make a big difference to me. I mean, perhaps the LED lighting of each key is kind of, but then I guess they saved. Based on all this stuff that they did, there's no fan, right? They saved like 30% battery life on it, and it goes all day. They said what, 18 hours? Was that right? Or was that what the watch was 18 hours on the charge? I don't know what they said. I think all day. They just said all day on the MacBook, and they also talked about the other, MacBook Pros and all those stuff that they got. Performance enhancements as well. So a lot of the stuff that they did for the MacBook, they kind of brought down to the other product line. So I thought that was interesting. And then obviously we'll talk about the whole thing of Apple Watch. But I thought they did a good job. They dispelled some rumors. They still have the sensors in the Apple Watch. They did something really nice. That research kit was announced to help get survey information for researchers for data, and they made that open source, so that was nice.
Yeah.
And when they were going through that presentation, I really thought that I'm saying to myself, well, why isn't it? Too bad it's just going to be for Apple. But yes, they made it for everybody. Although they did release 6 apps already for it, so they did a lot of nice things. And then they got to the watch, and the watch was really a rehash of the other presentation. I forgot how long ago it was. It was pretty much on target to what they did. There was a couple things that were a little bit different. I don't remember them talking about that you're able to answer the phone on your watch. I thought that was pretty cool.
Which is a feature, by the way, that you cannot do on Android Wear. Okay? Yeah. That was one thing that jumped out at me. I was like, okay, you finally showed me something that I cannot do from my Asus ZenWatch. Okay, because everything else that they showed up until that point was, this is nothing new if you're an Android Wear user,
Well, they had that one thing that you could, you can network people wearing the watch, and you can poke them, or the heartbeat, whatever, and they can actually it vibrates.
Useless. That's totally
It's useless,
stupid.
but it's it's a fun thing for these guys.
Well, listen, I've highlighted apps here. My wife and I were doing like a couples app to where we could share things, photos, videos, and you had a thing where you could pull up and push a button and share your heartbeat. I mean,
Okay.
I'm sorry, don't get me wrong. Maybe there's some usefulness for this down the road, but as they debuted it, it's stupid. I'm sorry, it's stupid.
Yeah, I'm not going to be buying the watch. Although I thought $349. Did they offer $100 more features? I think they did.
I don't.
I think they did. I think and it's funny because Leanna looked at looked at the watch. She goes, "Yeah, that's a nice looking watch." And I had to go, "Yeah, it looks nice." I haven't seen it up close in real life, but it's a nice, sleek looking watch. So who knows? We'll see. The proof is in the pudding.
Is that one?
I see your sleeve.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice looking watch too. Yeah.
I guess the one thing that got me though, Jeff, is the smaller watch is going to appeal to women or persons with smaller wrists. To this point, man, Android Wear has not offered anything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But there was one last thing when they showed that model who was the runner, the marathon, right?
Yes.
And she was checking it for the running in Kenya, wherever. She had that huge iPhone 6 on her like shoulder, So I'm going, you probably don't want to be running with your huge phone and this watch so you can track your time and stuff like that. So I was thinking that was a little bit.
Yeah, the watch supposedly will run 18 hours. Of course, there's a lot of people I know on Google Plus who are really disputing this 18 hours. In fact, some of them are saying not even 12 with gentle use. So we'll have to see about that. I'm looking here at a comparison chart that's looking at the all the stats for the Asus ZenWatch, the LG G Watch R, the Moto 360, and the Apple Watch. There's a lot of unknowns right now on the Apple Watch. How much RAM it's got, how much storage. But they don't know the weight. We don't know what kind of water resistance it has. Oh, let's see. This is saying it doesn't have any. I don't know about that. One thing I do see that that's jumping out at me, it does have a built-in GPS. Okay, and as far as being able to do that through Wi-Fi, that's coming to Android Wear. The fact that you don't necessarily need Bluetooth for functionality. So
yeah, and that was the other thing. The Apple Watch had Wi-Fi. Does Android Wear have Wi-Fi?
It's got Android Watch has a Wi-Fi radio, but it hasn't been activated. However, we've actually got an article in the docket tonight to talk about just that. It's coming next version. Okay. Hey, listen. Overall, I think the Apple Watch is a winner. I'm still going. I'm staying on record, guys. This is what I said weeks ago, and I'm still going to say it. Apple is going to sell a bunch of these come the last week of April, but I don't think that they will be able to sustain this because here again, this is a device. A much more expensive device than Android Wear. Okay. Mm-hmm. That does no more than what your phone already does. It is basically a gadget of convenience, all right? The people that are going to buy this are the people who are wanting to impress their friends, and that only sells so many devices. So I'm still sticking with it. It's going to sell well out of the gate, but it's going to fall flat. Jeff, argue with me.
Man, I don't think it's going to fall flat, but we'll see how long it takes for them. I think they said they projected something like in 3 years they're hoping to sell like 50 million a year or something like that, or whatever the number was. But they're not expecting it out of the gate, and they kind of made a comparison to when the iPhone first came out, how long it took them to ramp up to a certain amount of sales per year, and it took them like a year and a half for them to get to a certain level. And the same thing with the iPod. So I think it's something that's gonna ramp up. But one other interesting thing, which I didn't really understand that much, was they kept on talking about Apple Pay on your watch, right? And I didn't know if that had to be connected to your phone, or it could have just be on your, and was there a thumbprint or PIN number? They didn't really talk about that. I'd hate to see that, you take someone's phone or watch, which is really simple, and then you go on a buying spree, So they did have Apple Pay on the watch, which was kind of interesting.
Now, I was under the impression that did depend on the iPhone to be able to use your watch for Apple Pay. Is that not true?
I don't know, because they made mention that the card was in your watch, right? And I didn't know if that, but it's like, I don't know how they're going to do it, right? I don't know how you unlock your your watch so you can do that. It's just, I don't know how that's going to be done. So.
Yeah, we'll have to investigate that a little further. Hey, real quick, man, let's talk about some of their other announcements. First of all, man, HBO Go is not HBO Go at this Apple event, because you're going to be able to get an Apple TV box, okay, that has been selling for $99 for, goodness, 4 or 5 years now. And the price of that is going to drop to $69, and you will be able to get what we're calling HBO Now, and you will be able to get your HBO live and stream it straight to your Apple TV device. Listen, if I was rooted in the Apple ecosystem, you can bet that I would be owning an Apple TV proudly to be able to get HBO. An HBO subscription of $15 a month. You think people will cut the cord and go with what's streaming out there plus their HBO? What do you think, Bruce?
I'm trying to be really quiet in this show because I haven't said the A word yet, and I figure that when you two guys get fired from the show, I'll be the only one left. No, I wish I would have watched the whole event. I didn't get a chance to do that. I was flying from Virginia to Florida. I like watching these things. I enjoyed watching the
Samsung.
I watched the Samsung one, and I watched the other one. What's the other phone? Not LG, but the other one.
The HTC.
HTC, yeah. I watched both of those presentations, and I enjoyed them. But I wish I would have watched this. So I'm gonna have to really be reserved, with my comments. I mean, I did think, that a new MacBook Air, looks sharp, but I'm not, and maybe it competes with a new Dell XPS 13 2015 model, but. As far as the Apple TV, I'm not a big HBO person. I know that you guys, there's a couple shows that you guys really watch, so I'm not really into that. So I'm not attracted by the watch. I'm not attracted by the Apple TV thing personally, but I can understand why some would.
I still think the Roku is a better overall device. And let me say too, on the MacBook Air. Although it is lighter and it is beautiful, it's removed even more ports. Basically, you got one port, so you're going to have to do all of these adapters to get it to, USB, so forth, etc. And I guess because of that, I mean, are you willing to pay $1,300 to $1,600 for let's face it, a limited device? So depending on what you're after, Bruce, I still think that Dell XPS it might be the better laptop for a lot of people.
Yeah, and the new MacBook Air has still got considerable bezel all around the screen, while that XPS 13 has they call it the Infinity screen, has almost zero bezel.
But listen, if you're going for portability, thin and light, I mean, man, that MacBook was pretty sexy, guys. It was.
Yeah, it comes in
I
gold.
tell you, this Dell XPS opened up fine on that first class seat on that new CJR 900 for US Air. It was sweet. I bought the $6 hour package from GoGo In-Flight and got lots of work done on that, all on this nice machine.
So what do you guys think about the price reduction? You think that's an indictment that it's not doing well? Whenever Apple kind of lowers prices, is it's usually an indication that that product line is not really, because they pretty hold on to their price pretty strong,
It's a crowded field.
1300 and 1600. Of course, it's Retina display. It's definitely an upgrade. And let's face it, man, they're their computers they're growing. They're growing when a lot of these other companies are selling less. So
yeah, I'm talking about the Apple TV and the Apple TV price reduction from 99 to 69.
Yeah, well, listen, I think that price reduction came because they've got so much competition now from makers like Amazon, Roku. I look at that poor, pitiful Android TV now with its measly 8 gigabytes of memory. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, but I think at this point, if somebody's buying an Android TV, they're just they're too much of a fanboy because there's too many other better options out there, and Google's got to get with it. If they're going to get serious about this space, man, they've got to do better.
And the HBO Now, isn't it? It's only a 3-month exclusive, right? I mean, after 3 months, they're going to open it up to other platforms, or is it?
Well, I think I just read today that Dish now, I think you can get like all the HBOs and the Cinemaxes. It used to be you just got like one of each, and I think now it's opened it up to, basically all the HBO Cinemax satellites. So, there's been some expansion there on the Dish TV side of things. So, hey, guys, the good news here is it's really getting interesting if you want to cut cords. There's some viable options out there finally, Hey, real quick, man, and then we're going to get off of this. I'm about to get sick talking all this Apple stuff. Hey, but some of the stuff that they talked about that I just jotted down while they were on stage, first of all, 700 million iPhones have now been sold since 2007. Okay, 700,000 businesses and banks now accept Apple Pay. All right, and this other stuff here, I think we've already talked about it. The 5 apps, they were going to do the Alzheimer's. Let's see,
diabetes.
Diabetes check, breast cancer. There were several things around there around Health Kit that I thought was pretty cool to roll out with, man. So. Honestly, I love my Android devices, and I'm not going to be swapping, but way to go, Apple. I think you had a very good keynote, and you've definitely brought some legitimate competition to Android Wear. Get busy, Google. Okay, man. Hey, let's talk about the secret that Google's got in the works, this virtual reality. It sounds like they're going to be morphing their Android software and built it specific for virtual reality. This is probably going to be some sort of a headset or goggles at the end of the day. And, all three of us tonight on the panel, we're kind of older. We're not old, but we're older. Does this kind of news excite either one of you guys?
Bruce, you go first.
Neither VR, virtual reality, or what's the other one that Microsoft's coming out with on their augmented reality? Neither one of them really appeal to me right now. I just can't get over this monstrosity that you have to put on your head. It doesn't appeal to me right now, but, who knows?
Talk to me, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm not a big proponent either. I'm not a gamer, right? So that doesn't really fit my wheelhouse to be able to have that augmented reality of, if you're playing a game that you can crouch and you crouch and it does all that stuff. It doesn't work for me, and I don't have a 3D TV set either. So.
Yeah, well, I just I don't know. First of all, I think the technology's cool. I just don't think it's something that I'm interested in, if that makes sense. One thing that kind of concerns me, and we'll probably get some mail on this when I say it, but for example, let's look back at Microsoft, say 18 years ago. Okay, you had Windows Server, you had Windows CE, you had Windows, 98, Millennial Edition, XP. Just pick your flavor there, okay? But at the end of the day, the only thing that these operating systems had in common was they had the name Windows in them. Code-wise, they really weren't similar at all. And Microsoft struggled to maintain these operating systems. And I see Google branching out into all of these areas and, maybe fragmenting Android as we know and love it, okay? And I worry about stuff like that, do you guys think I've got a point, or I'm just stupid? Come on, Jeff.
No. I'm gonna let Bruce. I want to keep my job for another week. I'm gonna let Bruce go first.
I think you definitely have a point. I agree with you 100%. It is a legitimate concern, that, what's going to happen with the regular Android development. Are they going to have a separate team working on this? We've got, I think they could. I think they could very well fragment themselves and hurt the overall platform if they're not careful.
One other comment I'm going to make is, first of all, it wouldn't be fair to judge this because we haven't seen it. But we've seen some of the Oculus technology. We've seen what Samsung is doing with their VR headset. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. The thing that I've seen here lately that really has impressed me is the Microsoft holographic technology with those goggles. If you guys have seen any of the demos that they did there at their last keynote, this is some impressive stuff. And I guess I'm probably a little bit more excited about what I've seen coming from Microsoft than I have been anything that I'm coming from some of these Android OEMs.
Well, it could be that everyone's afraid to get left behind in some kind of technology or trend. Well, let's just say a trend, right? So they're all going to throw resources at it, regardless if they believe in it. And I kind of agree with both you guys that sometimes Google goes down a path and then they just abandon it. And we don't want them to go down another path and then abandon it. Right? We want them to stick with what they know, make it better, right? They haven't even worked out all the material design bugs yet, but why go through this other thing? They haven't relaunched Google Glass. Why go through this other thing? So stick with something that that people want. And I don't think people really want something that's going to be buggy and then dropped out again, like the Nexus Q or whatever it was, or now, perhaps Google Glass, although I think their Glass is coming back, of course, but it's just that whole idea.
All right. Any other comments on that?
No, I think the VR is still in its infancy. I heard somebody was commenting on the Twitch show Sunday, in particular about the Vive and how all the wires that were hooked up to the PC to be able to use it. But the size of that thing you have to wear and everything else like that, it's definitely not a.
And didn't they, just maybe a year and a half ago? Not even did they spoof the Facebook Oculus thing by coming out with a cardboard box? You just put so why go down? You just got done razzing the guys with this other thing, so why even go there?
Okay, I'm actually hunting for an app here. There it is. Hey guys, let's talk about Google Interactive Events. Have you guys heard about this?
Just from our article.
Okay, let me share my desktop here for everyone watching at home. This was an app that showed up in the App Store. It's from Google, and you can see here this first screen when I launch it. Welcome to the Interactive Events app. Before we begin, here's some important legal information regarding your use of this app. It'll only take a minute, and basically it's saying that this app is governed by the Google Terms of Service and its privacy policy, and I'm going to go ahead and accept this and scan or enter your QR code to access event information. And I don't have a QR code, but basically what this app looks like it's going to be is a way for event planners to enter in information into this thing, have a barcode created, and then people who show up at these events won't have to have a special event app. This will be just a standalone product for this. There's no word from Google about this, when it's coming, so forth, etc. But guys, I think this is a pretty cool thing and a great opportunity for Google with its advertising, but it will be a handy thing when we attend these events. What do you think? Bruce, talk to me, man.
Absolutely, I think it's great, and I think about all the conferences and conventions and seminars that I go to. We've some events will have QR codes on the back of their name tags, and if we were having a giveaway, for instance, at our booth, we could just scan with a QR code reader, and we would capture all this data. It was a great lead generation source. We would get their name, address, and phone number, and we could follow up on them later as a lead for our product. You think about this, I wonder if some of these big companies might be interested in doing this, but what would they be sacrificing to Google in the way of information that Google would be able to then use to create more ad revenue and stuff like that. So I think it's a great idea, has a lot of potential, but I think people are going to look at it close before they buy in all the way to see what's in it for Google when I use this app for my event.
Yeah, hey Jeff, you're living out there in Napa. I know you and your wife do a lot of wine tasting. I think you go to a lot of Napa City events and so forth. I've seen your Google Plus stream. Do you see yourself maybe, if Napa and some of these wineries and all were using that when they hold these events, do you see that as value added to your experience?
Well, not for me, but for them, yes. I think if it makes it easier for them to put on an event and then track the information, and then whatever information they get and gather, basically, who attended what, when, what their interests were, and things like that. It would be very good for the event planner to make not this event but the next event even better, right? So they can fine tune it in a good way. And then you think about all those other things like film festivals, even we have something out here called Bottle Rock that people have that are like music events, things like that. I think for those type of things, I think it would be very easy for them to kind of do that and want to do it, because it's just an added expense, and if they can make it easy, shows them how technologically advanced they are, they're going to do it, and people will end up just saying yes and taking the app, and guess what? That information is going to be someplace.
Well, it could save a lot of money too, because when you have these big conferences and events, a lot of them have apps written by an app maker for those events, and it has maps on it and the schedules and stuff. But having this as an option for somebody would save them a lot of money, and you could easily, it would be dynamic. You could update it on the fly if you needed to change this meeting's going to be in this room instead of that room, getting notifications, alarms when things are getting started, a speaker, some notes, and makes it easy. People don't have to take a whole lot of handwritten notes. He can have his notes to be part of it and everything. Yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, exactly. And then, in the case that they wanted to blast email out the notes of the talk that you went to. Everyone just does it, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You know, last minute changes for follow-ups after the event. Hey,
Yeah.
man, this is very powerful. And yeah, I think Google's got a great idea here, and I'm sure that it at some point it'll be covered in advertising, and Google will be happy, and so will we. Hey, all right, man. Let's move on, guys. Let's talk about. Hey, listen. You know, we all know the Samsung's disaster last year when it came to their mobile phones. Everybody's talked about it. Samsung's reported it. But out of the gate here, just prior to Mobile World Congress, Samsung unveiled two new phones, the Galaxy S6 and the Galaxy S6 Edge. It looks like that at least Samsung is reporting that they have 20 million pre-orders for these two devices, and they even split them out. About 15 million of these is the S6, and about 5 million is the S6 Edge. My question to you guys, Bruce, I'll let you go first on this one. Is Samsung back?
It looks like they could very well be back, and what's going to be really critical is how these devices perform. If they get this quick charge and battery life, and they don't have these edge screens breaking, I think they could very well be back. 20 million is nothing to sneeze at.
Their pre-orders for the S5 last year were looking really promising out of the gate, and then they just dropped off to nothing. And I hope this is a good sign. I will say this, guys. All of the reviews that I have read on the new Samsung phones has been super positive. I mean, listen, Samsung did not get this favorable press this time last year when they debuted the S5. And it looks like, if nothing else, they've kind of got the press in their court on this one. Would you not agree, Jeff?
Perhaps. I did watch a CNET article or a video, 5 reasons why not to buy the new Samsung phone. So, and these are, I guess, would be considered to be allotments for network carriers like Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint.
Yes, I'm figuring that these are a lot of those sales. Absolutely,
yeah.
brother.
And and those things, I don't know if they don't sell them, what the throwback is. If they just return them to Samsung. So I remember, what was it, BlackBerry? They had all those pre-orders and then it just died. So those numbers are what they are. We'll have to see how many people actually buy them. I didn't even consider the phone when I was looking at it, because there's certain things I was looking for, and I think they took maybe they did hit the sweet spot, but let's see what the battery life turns out to be. They can't replace the battery. There's no SD card, and the specs are pretty similar to the previous phone. So one thing about the Edge that did change, it's one screen. It's not two AMOLED screen, two separate screens. So maybe that'll make it more, efficient and better and accessible. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the real sales, come out to be.
I really like the looks of that Samsung S6 Edge.
Yep.
I wasn't real crazy about the Note Edge. I wasn't. I thought, that the Note would be more of a device for me. But, I've said for a long time now, I've said that if I drop my Nexus 5 in the toilet today, that I would probably try and buy that OnePlus One to replace it. Really like that phone. But I'll tell you what, guys, I would probably, at this point, I would have to consider these Samsung Galaxy phones, both the 6 and the 6 Edge. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder how much of a fire sale the S5s will be now. You know,
Yeah.
they got, that might be the better play in terms of getting a free phone or a greatly reduced phone. You
Good
still
point.
have the removable battery, you still have the SD card, and the specs are, pretty similar. So who knows?
Uh, I guess if processors were important to you, that gosh, how do you say it? You know,
You talk about the Samsung,
yeah, Samsung's putting their own processors in them versus the Qualcomm 810.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if that was important to you, of course it's not to most people who are buying these devices, but it's something I would consider. All right, man. Have we covered everything? I believe we have. Oh no, we got one more. I'm sorry.
Android Wear.
Yes, Android Wear. I found it interesting that Google made this announcement just prior to the Apple announcement on the iWatch, and basically Android Wear is going to be getting some new gesture control and going to be getting new Wi-Fi support. Just that's kind of what we were talking about. It will no longer depend on a Bluetooth connection. Hey, I'm kind of excited about this, but you guys aren't, are you?
No.
I think the Wi-Fi support's going to be good. Not all of the Android phones have Wi-Fi built into them. Sony's do. A couple others do. Some of them don't say it. We don't know if it's in there or not. So, but it would be good for those that do have that capacity. The gesture control, I don't know. They're talking about it being a way to scroll through your screens without having to take your finger to swipe. But I don't know. I'd hate for somebody to see you shaking your wrist and thinking you were, especially if you wore your watch in your left arm, that maybe you were having a heart attack or something.
And I wonder, how it's going to switch between the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, because obviously the Bluetooth is going to be a little bit more less power intensive, right, than the Wi-Fi, because battery life is still an issue. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you don't want both of those, receivers constantly checking to see which one's better to be using, so that would just drain the battery like you wouldn't believe.
And issues that I've had over several iterations of Android now is when I switch from data to Wi-Fi, a lot of times I lose connections. Especially Hangout connections. And that's a good point, Jeff. How the handshake is going to take place there is definitely a legitimate question. Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, anything else on that?
Well, I think it's, they're realizing that Apple, not to talk about the Apple Watch, but they have to do things to, circumvent perhaps, another product coming and grabbing market share, right? And it's good for everybody because they have to make improvements. They have to make them quickly, and they probably realize it now.
And listen, I think we're fixing to see, this year I think we're going to see probably 3 or 4 more Chinese manufacturers offer smartwatches. We've already seen a very impressive Huawei at Mobile World Congress. I'm hearing Oppo, Xiaomi. There's several that's going to be getting in the game. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be fun to watch. And guys, I
Did we lose Bruce? I mean, Duke?
He's frozen right now. Let's see. Usually,
See if it comes back.
Yeah, he should be able to come back. But
I'm looking at the.
it still shows we're live, at least on this screen.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll catch up. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
Hasn't
So I
jumped
just
yet.
don't really have a need for the watch. I mean, I look at all these watches and I see them coming, but if I'm sitting at work, my phone is right here, like right now, it's sitting next to my laptop. All I got to do is reach down, push the button. I can see it's 7:44 p.m. Eastern time. And I realized if I had a watch, even I'd have to turn my watch and I'd have to tap it to get it to wake up. unless I can shake it. So I just don't
Yeah.
have a void for a watch yet in my life.
Yeah, and same with me. I don't carry. I haven't had a watch in a long time. And the only time I ever really used one last was more of a heart monitor watch that when I was into kind of working out really heavy or trying to things like that. So that was the only real thing that I wouldn't get from my watch.
Search for Tech and Coffee. Look for that gorgeous TNC logo. You can catch our podcast on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Player FM. Tweet us using the hash Tech and Coffee. Questions, comments, and snide remarks, throw them to AJ at techandcoffee.info. Again, that is AJ at techandcoffee.info. Hey, Jeff, we have given you a hard time for a pretty good while now about holding on to that ancient Droid Max phone. And you kept saying, I'm looking, I want to upgrade, but I'm just really looking for the ultimate, the bucks versus performance, and what am I going to get the most bang for my buck? What's it going to be? And I've looked at this one, and what do you think about that one? Big Dog, you finally took the plunge this week. Tell us about it.
Yes, I did. I did take a plunge, and it was a small plunge, but I've been looking at the LG G3 phone for a while online, and I went to the Verizon store actually to check it out, really check it out, and I liked the phone. I liked the way it looked, and that's what I ended up getting. But I didn't like Verizon, so my thought was I was going to switch to a different carrier because I had unlimited data grandfathered in. So I went to the Verizon store and I was going to basically check out see what it cost for me to switch over. And I got this young sales guy, and he basically tried to push me to a different plan, and I hated that kind of salesy kind of deal. So I ended up going to Costco to look to see, because I know they sell phones, and I'm a Costco member. And anyways, I ended up getting the phone through Costco, and this is the LG phone right here. In fact, I still have the little cellophane over the top of the phone right now anyway, so it's not 100%. I have 15 days to return it at Costco, so I'm getting close, but anyways, I found out through Costco, because they're not, it wasn't the Verizon store, that these guys for Verizon had a plan for unlimited, a way to bridge you from unlimited to a different plan, and they gave you unlimited to 6 gigabytes. For the new 2-year activation, so I get 6 gigabytes of data. At Costco, I only paid the sales tax on the wholesale price of the phone, so the whole transaction came to $17.88. My phone was free. So, having said all that, get their kind of, their flagship phone that's maybe 8 months old or 6 months old. I like the design on the back here. You can still see I do have the cellophane. Yes, I do. But they have the power button on the back, and they have the volume controls on the back, which I didn't know if I was going to like it, but I do. I really do like that. It has a 13 megapixel camera and with a laser focus, so taking pictures is pretty quick. And also, if the phone is off, you just long press the down volume button, and it comes automatically. The camera comes up automatically without the lock screen or anything like that, and you can take a picture. So it comes up pretty quick, which I like. And then so that you can configure these, and the other one is the other up arrow long press for the volume brings down these quick notes. But the screen itself is pretty bright. Let me turn it on and show you it real quick. This is what the screen looks like. Oops. Yeah, it looks just like that. I'll put my... It's a 5.5-inch phone. It's very zippy. Has its own little health meter that you can track number of calories, and they have these smart tips. I'm not too sure how to change these two guys' screens, but they do keep track of your steps and calories and things like that. It's one of their bundled apps. But the screen itself is an IPS screen. It is very, very sharp. I really, really like it. It's responsive. The camera's nice. It does 1080p, 4K, slow motion video. So all in all, I'm really, really pleased with how it performs. It has 3 gigabytes of memory, 32 gigs of storage, removable 3,000 milliamp battery. And has the knock to turn you can basically just knock the phone and it comes back on. The battery life has been very good. Let me show you a quick little screen print of if I can do this. Turn on screen share here. So you can probably see a little bit better. But yeah, it has just a beautiful screen and it's a little bit of bloatware on it, but not bad. It has the Google Plus. Obviously you can put any widget on it or anything like that. So far, the battery life has been stellar, absolutely stellar. I charged it yesterday, last night, and I still have 83% battery life as of today. And I've been out and about. So I highly recommend it. It's not they're going to come out with a new phone in probably maybe 6-7 months, but I like it a lot. It has all the features I like about it, and so far so good. Let me knock on it again. It should come up. Now it has the PIN number. I don't want you guys to see my PIN number.
Oh, come on.
Oh, man.
I did notice, Jeff, thanks for putting me in your favorite contacts there. I noticed our Cutie was in your favorite Thank you. I didn't know I was that important to you.
Yeah, it's just, and Bruce is in there too. He's under, Deacon of...
Now, Jeff, I have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You do know that removing the plastic has no effect whatsoever on your 14 return policy, right?
I know. It's just something I haven't done. Because the other thing is, I'm going to buy a skin for it. I'm not too sure, but I just left it on. Did
you take them off and put them back on, or have you not even taken them off?
I have not even taken them off.
Okay, you need counseling.
I do need counseling. But, one thing I do like is, let me compare this to the Razr Max, and you will see that in terms of size, it's not that much bigger. That's the difference of the two phones.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the screen size is just, way more screen.
Yeah, it's a lot brighter, a lot sharper, and it is.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking device, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I like it. So far, so good. I probably won't return it, but it was the big thing for me. The item that just sent me over the edge was the idea of getting the phone for $17 and then having 6 gigabytes of data for my plan. If they had to drop me down to 2, I probably wouldn't have done it. And for the same price. So
I know it's early. You probably might not have some real strong opinions on this, but you got the 13 megapixel with the laser focus camera.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the camera so far?
I think it's very, very sharp so far, and I tried some slow motion pictures and things like that, and it was very responsive. It wasn't that laser focused to take a picture, focus in really quick. I didn't think it was like like instantaneous, but it's pretty sharp. It's pretty clean. It's like a 13 megapixel camera. I don't know what the front camera is. Let's see if I can see the specs on it. If I can pull it up, I think it's like, I don't know what it is. Let's see what it says for the camera.
3 or 5.
Yeah, something. Hold on. Front facing 2.1. But you know what makes it really, really nice is that you know, it's an upgrade from my Razr Max. You know, so at this point, any phone would have been nice. It's zippy. I tried everything to keep my Razr Max going.
Jeff, I think at this point, if you'd have got a Moto E, you'd have been bragging on it versus the Razr Max. I'm sorry. Okay.
So how many days do you have left on this return policy?
I think I probably about 7 maybe.
Okay, so that next week's show,
Yeah.
you will, and I know Duke can cue up the right kind of music for this for you to peel off the plastic. No, you don't rip. No, it's peel.
Peel.
Very slow.
Yeah.
Right.
Da,
you know,
da, da, da.
Exactly. But you know, it has a removable back. You can take the battery out, put an SD card in there. So you know, 32 gigs is more enough for me right now. So I'm not gonna really mess with it. But yeah, we'll see what it's like.
Well, very good, Jeff, and congratulations. I'm glad you got a new one, and I'm you know, I like to take pictures with my phone, and I'm kind of disappointed in the Nexus 5 camera overall. Manual camera has made it fun to take pictures from it, but still yet, I just don't think the sensor's what it ought to be for a flagship device like the Nexus 5 was. So I'm looking forward to hearing a longer-term review on the LG G3 camera, Jeff.
Yeah. And one other thing you can do, which is kind of interesting, you can take a the back camera and the front camera. You can record at the same time.
Yeah, I can do that on my Galaxy Alpha too.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
They do support dual screens, so you can have 2 apps up at the same time. But it's only I haven't rooted the phone yet. You have to root the phone to get all your apps. It's only a certain number of apps that allow the dual screen out of the box. But anyways,
LG supported apps.
Next step. I got to do that before this 15 days.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeff. Very good. Very good. I enjoyed that. Okay. Hey, guys, my app this week is called Wayfare. I'm going to spell that for you. It's Wayfare. Wayfare. Meet the world. And before I tell you about the app, just let me tell you a little bit about me. When I was a young lad, my mother and father would take me camping. We visited several campgrounds across many states, mainly in the South. And, I'd make friends, and we would exchange addresses, and I would come back home. And, in the fall, we would write one another. And, probably come Christmas, I'd get bored and I'd kind of lose contact with them. But it was my early experience of pen paling. And then back really before the internet was prolific, I was spending a lot of time on bulletin boards, various bulletin boards with my computers. I think the first computer I bought had a 2400 baud modem. I think I didn't have it long, and by the way, it was an IBM 286, no joke. I upgraded. I had a 486 with a 9600 baud modem. And anyway, on one of these bulletin boards, I saw where you could post your email address and do electronic pen pals. And, over time, there were 4 or 5 people that wrote back and forth. I had she was a grandmother in Houston. She was such a hoot, a lot of fun. And then I had a couple of pen pals in Europe, Germany, Belgium, and it was just really great to get to know them, learn about, where they lived, their culture, what they did for a living. It was just a lot of fun. And now, Wayfare is kind of pen paling for your mobile device. And this one right here, I just want to tell you, this has been out since the fall of last year. And right now, it's got an average rating of 3.9. I think I know why the average isn't higher than that. But and by the way, my own review, I gave it 4 stars. So with that said, let me show you the app from my device. Let's try it this way. Having a little mouse trouble here. Okay, I am going to go ahead and launch this app here now. I think I am anyway. This is Wayfair. And right now, I've got a guide. How this works is once Wayfair establishes your home country, you will never get a guide from your home country. It will always be a foreign country. Now, you know, we all know the app Tinder and what it is. It's basically a hookup app. And this is probably the anti-Tinder app, okay? It's going to be really hard to hook up. First of all, you're not getting a whole lot of personal information from the person. This particular one that I've got is right now is she's in Australia. Her name is Rachel, and if I click Continue Journey, what I'm going to get here is Rachel was I just was invited to let her be my guide this morning. It'll give you these missions. My first mission was to show Rachel the view where I was standing. Well, guess what? Where I was standing was my computer. So I went ahead and took a picture of that. And now I just said, hey, Rachel, it is a pleasure to meet you, Small Town USA here. And I'm waiting on Rachel to respond now. And by the way, it's telling me that it's currently 11:01 a.m. in Australia. Okay, so how this works, guys, is you get a guide from a foreign country. And what happens is this is your guide for 7 days. Unless your guide decides to leave you or you decide to leave the guide, you should be able to converse with this person for 7 days. And during this time, you can share pictures, you can text anytime, okay? And then once that 7 days are up, then what happens is these folks become your friend. All right, now here's the friends that I've had. First of all, this lady here is in Tehran, Iran. Never heard from her. She was my first guide. She never responded to me. After 2.5 days, I got frustrated, and I met Mary in France. Okay? Mary was a hoot. She and I had just such a great time, and you can see that we talked. I mean, yesterday we just talked up a storm. All right? She has been to America many times. She's visited many states in America. Was telling me how much she enjoyed the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And she told me that she's a shopaholic and she has a weakness for black high-heeled shoes. Okay? She had just bought these shoes when we kind of sunk up here, and she was my guide to France. So, you know, and we went back and forth just kind of establishing, you know, she showed me her picture, had a great time and thanked me and what great conversation that we had, so forth, etc. This morning, suddenly, she left me. I don't know if maybe, you know, maybe I probably shouldn't have sent her that picture of me in my phone. I don't know. But, and by the way, guys, this is her backyard right here. Let me just show you. We got to talking about, you know, and this app gives you missions. And this particular mission was something I see every day. This is her backyard in the south of France. She lives close to the coast. She loves to swim. She loves boating. And, yeah, this was my guide. Now, let me tell you just something that I've noticed about this app. It's not an instant gratification type of app. It's going to take weeks to really build up any kind of pen pal followings on this, okay? And but it is a great app, and I just can't say enough good about it. I've had a ball since I've installed it, and I really, really got to recommend this. This is called Wayfarer, and it's modern day pen paling from your app. And Jeff, I saw that comment flash up. Okay, I'm just telling you right now, I saw it. I might have been running my mouth, but I did see it. So that's my app this week, guys. It's called Wayfarer. It's free. There's no advertising. I think it is a brilliant idea. It's not necessarily social networking, but it is a great way to meet people. I don't think it's necessarily a hookup type app just because of its limitations of countries, and you're not really sharing any kind of specific location data. Of course, you know, you have that option to do that through the chat itself. But yes, it's a great app, I think. Wayfarer, it's the first app that I've come across in a while that I'm actually excited about. Absolutely.
Is there any kind of voice feature to it?
There is no voice. Basically, what you can do is share videos, share pictures, or just, you know, do a text basic chat. You know, it's got emoticons and so forth, etc. I would highly recommend that you check it out. I just think it's a fun, great way to meet folks.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, man. Anything else, guys?
Not here unless you want some more Sweet Baby Ray's honey barbecue sauce.
I'll tell you what's the truth. Seeing as how if I put barbecue sauce on anything, I mean, my wife hadn't been to the grocery store in over a week, so I'd probably have to put it on my finger and eat my finger, Bruce. Y'all better pass on it, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, listen, man. Android Journal, techandcoffee.info. Come and hang out with us, gang. We would love to meet you. Grab your favorite beverage. Let's talk tech. And, hey, gang, we will catch you in 7. Everybody have a great week. Peace out, everybody.